What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing the spoiler review for Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1. Before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you want me to review next. But yeah, this is the spoiler review for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, so I'm going to go full into what I thought for the show. But before we get into that, let's first recap what I gave for the score. So I gave this an 8 out of 10 for great. And let's now get into the spoiler section. So, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the spoiler-free review. I did fear that the show was gonna suck. And it had nothing to do with me thinking that the monster designs or anything like that was gonna be bad. My big fear was, are they gonna focus too much on the human characters? Because that's generally something that Godzilla 2014, Godzilla King of All Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong, they didn't do a great job with the human characters, if I'm being honest with myself. So, like, Millie Bobby Brown's character in the last two films, I didn't care for the character. I was kind of like, why are we showing this character? She's kind of killing screen time for other stuff we could be doing, especially when we're ramping up the screen time for the movie. I was just like, you could just cut her out, and it still is basically the same film. And that felt harsh, but it was just like, yeah, they didn't make me care about the character. It had nothing to do with her acting. She's a great actress. But they didn't know how to write the character, and it felt like that was very similar. I'm just using her as an example. It felt very similar for a lot of the characters in there, where it's like, what we really care about is the monsters, and you're not doing a great job with the humans. That being said, in the show, they do a really great job of these human characters, writing them out really well, and you actually care about them. Like, I, by the end, was just like, oh no, I hope things go really well for Kate and Kentaro, like, making sure, like, I want the brother and sister to get reunited by the end of it. So that was really cool. And then the start of the show, I will admit, surprised the crap out of me, where it's like, oh, Kate just found out that her dad was having a secret life in Japan, and he was even married over there, has a half brother. I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. You guys are like, you're starting off strong here. Like, you're making me think and being like, damn, she's already in a crazy situation. Plus, she had to deal with the Godzilla stuff. It's like, you know what? Kudos to her, because damn, she went through a lot. And then it was really cool to see the development of Kentaro and Kate by the end of it. I really loved it. It was just like, right now when I just said, like, she had so many opportunities to give up because of so many things that went bad for her, and even thinking her dad was dead and all that. I was just like, she was in a situation where, like, I don't know how she got out of that, because, like, mentally, she seemed like she was, like, out of it by the end. And she even had that episode when they were trying to break into San Francisco where you saw her mentally break down. And it's just like, she went through a lot. And it's like, you feel for this character. Not that Kentaro didn't go through other stuff, but, like, Kate was there at G-Day, and it's like, she went through, like, she was, like, right up close and personal to Godzilla. All right, and let me talk about that. The thing I didn't like about from the movie, where I'm like, this kind of compared to the Godzilla versus Kong, and it's a time dilation. So when in Godzilla versus Kong, when they go down to Hollow Earth and come back, it seems like time just went by normally. However, here, when someone goes down to Hollow Earth and then goes back, time changes. Like, they're in, like, years pass. I mean, Kate and Lee weren't even in there for a day, and 2 years passed. When not Lee. When Kate and May get back out. And even for Keiko, who, like, she had the big twist of, like, her being alive, to her it was only, like, 57 days, but, like, 50 plus years happened in the future to her. Like, for her, like, her son was a full-grown adult by the time she got back. So that was really, like, I'm not sure how I can explain all that stuff, because I'm like, I'm not sure if it all necessarily worked, because, like, the movie didn't mention, like, the time dilation, but yet it still happened. So, like, that was a weird one where I was like, oh, this seems very off to me. But maybe they'll explain it in the second season, or maybe the Godzilla Cross Kong will explain it. Maybe because they're entering Hollow Earth a different way. I don't necessarily know. And then let's talk about the Keiko, her family line being cheaters. I didn't like that. It felt really disingenuous to, like, what they were trying to do. Like, oh, Keiko was both into Billy and Lee, and I was like, I didn't really, like, need that, because we already had the Hiroshi doing what he did. And I was just like, we could have been fine with the Hiroshi being kind of a dick, and we didn't need that from Kate, because Kate was also cheating on her girlfriend, and Keiko kind of like, I don't think she like necessarily messed with Shaw, but she was definitely thinking about it. It was just like one of those things, like, I didn't necessarily like that they were trying to put that in the line. It just felt really awkward to me. I didn't really necessarily like that. It just felt like this wasn't what the show was about, and them trying to put that on Kate and Keiko, I was just like, just keep it on Hiroshi. Just make him the dick in the group. All right, and then the Keiko twist. Let's talk about that for a second. So, in my spoiler-free review, I mentioned that Godzilla Minus One did something similar. Now, in Godzilla Minus One, it was like the main character, his girlfriend, she supposedly died. And she didn't. We actually see her at the end, and I started getting the feeling like they were going to do something similar with Keiko, and I didn't necessarily like the fact that they were trying to do the exact same thing with Keiko. I was just like, it's one of those things where, like, they came out too close together. It was like, okay, so now I gotta have a rule that if I don't see the person actually die, I can't believe that they're dead. And now that makes me think, oh, is Shaw still alive? Because I don't think we necessarily saw him die, but we can assume he did. But it was just like, I didn't like that now I have to, like, question these kaiju movies, like, whether or not someone really died or didn't die. And I also want to mention that I did enjoy how we did get to see the fallout from the events of Godzilla 2014, like San Francisco, what happened to it after those events, how we're seeing like how even Japan has like an early warning system. San Francisco, a lot of the areas are still deserted and things like that. It's like, oh, this is really cool to see. And I just didn't expect they were going to go that way. And it's like, oh, we're seeing things at a street level where like in the movies, you only see things like in a high cities, country level. We actually got to see things in a city level. And I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed seeing that. Another thing, like, the story was really well done. Like, I gotta say, seeing the two timelines eventually cross, I thought that was really well done. Because I did care about the characters, and seeing, like, Lee being in both timelines, and then when he eventually does reunite with Keiko, like, that reunion between the two, you actually feel it, and you're just like, damn, you feel for this guy. One of the things I'm not necessarily sure how I felt about is the Apex aspect, because we know that they're in the Godzilla versus Kong film, but the show ends around like 2017. Apex would have still been like early on, but the movie takes place like 2020. So I'm like, again, the timing just didn't make sense to me as much. I think like the show should have probably happened before that movie came out. Granted, it wasn't greenlit or anything like that, but it just feels like now I'm a little bit confused with it going into Godzilla cross Kong. And I'm like, should I expect any of these characters to show up? But I think that movie takes place in 2024. So it's like, there's still like a 7-year gap there. I'm not necessarily sure if we should see those characters there or if we keep them independent. I don't necessarily know what they're going to do there, because a lot of it does feel weird. Like the best thing I can think of is the MCU and then having Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where like the movies can affect the show, but not necessarily the other way around. I'm feeling like that might be the way they're going with it. I'm not sure necessarily. I did like that May ended up getting her own story as well. She wasn't just a background character or girlfriend that was there. Her having her own story was really cool, and I thought she had a pretty good story. Where like, oh, she's gonna be part of like whatever's going on with Apex, and I'm really happy with that. And then I'm really at the end wanting to see what's gonna go on now with Kentaro and his dad. He's going to start working for him now that he helped get Kata. Excuse me. So this should be interesting to see. I'm excited to see what they do with that. Alright, guys. So let me now move on to my overall season conclusion. I love Season 1. I thought that this was done really well. And them focusing on the human characters worked. I didn't think that was going to work. I'll be honest. It was the one thing I'm just like, Godzilla Minus One got it. And I'm sorry for referring to Godzilla Minus One so many times. It was just like, it's so crazy. Godzilla Minus One got it, and the next thing as well got it. It's like, I don't know how you guys both figured it out. This is so crazy. And we still got a lot of Titan action. We didn't need to get a lot of it in the show. I think the way they spread it out was done really well, and I'm excited to see what they do with this next season. I'm not necessarily sure if we could have a 2-timeline thing, unless we're going to bring in other characters, and we're going to have a 2-timeline thing with another set of characters that maybe join later on. I'm not necessarily sure, but I am excited to see what they're going to do, and I hope we get more designs for Titans, because so far I've loved them all, and let's see what happens after Godzilla Cross Kong. That's gonna be the next thing we see in this universe, and then once we finish that, we'll see if hopefully we get a greenlit for Monarch Season 2. Although, will it still be named Monarch? Because now they're going to work for Apex. Would it be Apex Legacy of Monsters? I don't know. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. The next review should be the Venture Brothers movie. I'm doing a review for that, so watch out for that coming out soon. But yeah, guys, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Please comment down below what you thought of the show. Did you like it? Did you not like it? I'm very curious to see. And yeah, I'm so excited to see what they have next for this show. Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.